I'm not entirely convinced, though. I think at least it was a memorable speech, which is more than you can say for Starmer's or the Lib Dems, whenever that was. I've completely forgotten it. I think it was more memorable. I think it was an upbeat speech. From that point of view, it played into Boris's strengths. I think the problem with Brexit is this. It isn't Brexit. It's the deal that Boris signed us up to. So we've still got, let us not forget, before we go on to the high wage economy, let us not forget we've still got the Northern Ireland problem. And unless he can sort that out properly, nobody's going to believe that Brexit's truly done.
And that wasn't even mentioned today. That wasn't even mentioned today.
No, I mean, but Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, and you would have thought that it would have been mentioned. Similarly, he's got to sort out fishing until that's fully resolved, particularly with the French. You can't say Brexit is now just done and dusted and now we'll build on it. We've still got building blocks put in place. But I think he was absolutely right to highlight the fact that for years what this country has relied on is very cheap imported labour. It's immigration. And as a result of which, we've got the very peculiar situation in this country at the moment of people on the dole, people unemployed, and yet pretty well every employer in the country or every sector in the country shouting that they can't get enough workers. Now, there's a great mismatch there. And the reason for the mismatch, as Boris has identified, is largely wages. However, if he's going to go for a high wage economy, and bully for him if he wants to do that, he's got to take into account, and I haven't heard him deal with this at all, high wages will inevitably lead to inflation. There is no way that you can have high wages, bigger costs to employers, and no inflation. We're going to have inflation. And what we haven't heard from him is how he proposes to deal with that, because we've had a couple of decades now with virtually no inflation at all, or very, very minimal inflation. So he's got to actually explain that, and he hasn't done that. And that's why I think employers are worried. It's all very well doing the bombast. We're going to be a high-wage economy. Yes, and inflation, Prime Minister?